Do you know now that they can use acupuncture to take care of acne and pimples? What we call cosmetic acupuncture. They have used acupuncture in various ways. They are using it now for slimming. They are using it in spa in developed countries. What are we doing in this country? They are using the herbal medicine in their various countries, especially Sri Lanka, to treat psychiatric issues. So hardly will you see madmen patrolling the streets in Colombo, just as we see them in this country, and they are growing in numbers. What are we doing? You and I know that, yes, Western medicine, they have been able to establish psychiatric institute, but is that really solving our problems? Until we go back to the basics, like in the days of Professor Adeoye Lambo, when he was the deputy president of WHO, he really advocated the use of herbal medicine in taking care of mental ailment. And it was working out that time. They worked with herbal medicine practitioners. And I think over time, that program became moribund. But from the new research, now WHO is now laying emphasis on herbal medicine. How can we use herbs to really take care of so many ailments? Now that antibiotics have been somehow, they are having limitations when it comes to curing of some ailments. The 3 mega bucks, don't forget, E. coli, staphylococcus, and the other one, E. coli, staphylococcus, and the third one, I can't remember now. They are really giving the world a lot of problems. In the last meeting in Geneva, these 3 mega bucks are really giving the whole world problems because of their resistance to antibiotics. That is just among few of, many of the ailments that are now giving the whole world problem. Are we talking about cardiovascular issues too? A lot of people are still there with high blood pressure. Not to talk of the scourge of fake medicines all over the place, So where are we going? So the best thing for us is to go inward, go into our herbal medicine. We have notable herbal practitioners in these countries, in this country of ours called Nigeria, who can stand their own in the whole world. So I think it's high time we divert this and we start exporting it to the outside world. We have a lot of things to showcase, but the enabling environment has not been created by the government. Everything will start and stop at the buck of the government. Even though these countries we are talking about, they didn't depend 100% on government. But the government created an enabling environment for them to thrive. They are giving them a lot of incentives, until we start putting herbal medicine, complementary medicine inside our budget. When we prepare our budget, do we remember herbal medicine, complementary medicine? Everything is on Western medicine. Where are we finding ourselves? So I think we need to do a lot of rethink to really see where we can really, place herbal medicine to help humanities. And the practitioners themselves, they are not helping themselves. The practitioners are keep fighting amongst themselves. They keep going to court. They keep behaving as if when they die, they are going to bury them with titles, with positions. Where are we going? They keep pulling themselves down, pulling down. How are we going to progress in that, So it's a food for thought. But I want to assure our viewers, those of you who are very loyal to WAP TV who are watching, and I want to seize the opportunity to also thank WAP TV for creating that ladder of success for people like us to climb, and see the entire world. Yes, kudos to WAP TV. And we are going to bring you a lot of things we see in those places we visited and what we can learn from that place, from that kind of situation. And at the same time, we also want to assure our viewers who are watching us that most of those ailments, we have gotten new techniques, new knowledge, new outlook to really look at diseases, the way we've been seeing it before, So like we always say, what is your own ailment that you feel nature has no answers to? I don't think that ailment is in existence. Those ailments we dread, they all have answers when we use what God has created, So that's why you see that in the olden days, our forefathers, they live long. Some of them 150, and so on and so forth. But these days, somebody will spend 65, 70 years. They will say to a life well spent, I think that is a premature death if you look at the longevity history of mankind. But then we continue to strive hard to make sure that we do something. But we continue to say that, yes, Complementary and alternative medicine and herbal medicine should have a place as we speak. Complementary and herbal medicine, they are yet to pass the test of the National Assembly. Up till now, it's very ridiculous. Countries like Ghana and some other places, they are really having a swell time. Complementary medicine and herbal medicine has taken a lot of new dimension in all those places. Researches are going on how to cure so many ailments. Here in this country, we are still finding it difficult to cure ordinary malaria fever. When people go to the hospital and seek treatment, some of them will end up patronizing all these roadside quack concussion peddlers. Let me use that word. Because they are now, they are in every street now. Nobody is talking about it. Nobody is controlling them. Everyone is patronizing them. If you go to areas like Ikoyi and CMS, you see people with tie patronizing all these people, drinking it. They have turned their mouth to dustbin, put anything there, and that is not really helping us. So where are we going? We need to ask ourselves. So we are going to, by the grace of God, we are going to make the difference. We're going to discuss a health issues called benign prostate hyperplasia, BPH. BPH, yes. Or let's just put it simple, enlarged prostate. So when you're having a large prostate, what are the signs you will be seeing? And how can you manage it? And how can you treat it? Is it treatable? I learned that this morning on our program here that, yes, they talked about it. Because it is an issue that is very current. That's why everyone is talking about it. And a lot of people are taking some decisions, some panicky decisions on what they shouldn't have done. Some people, they've done some surgery which I will call needless surgery. We are not saying surgery is not good, but when it is not time to do surgery yet, there are some other forms of interventions. So let's just talk about it. What do we mean by enlarged prostate or benign prostate hyperplasia? Everyone has a pair of kidneys. We have 2 kidneys. The job of kidney is to remove waste, just as lawman, these waste management people, remove waste around our environment. So this is how kidney removes waste in our body. So every day your blood pressure passes through the kidneys every time to be filtered. As the blood is filtered, urine is formed and stored in temporary storage tank called the urinary bladder. If there were to be no urinary bladder, as a man walks on the road, urine will be dropping. So that's the job of the UB, urinary bladder. We have even UB is so important that in acupuncture we have a channel called UB channel. Some people call it bladder channel. So to show you the importance of bladder, bladder is very important. So now think of the plumbing work in your house. Think of the urinary bladder as the overhead storage tank. From the storage tank, a good plumber will run pipes to other parts of the house, including the kitchen. God, in his own wisdom, ran pipes from our urinary bladder to the tip of the penis. Okay? This pipe is called the urethra. Now we are discussing anatomy now. Just below the bladder and surrounding the urethra is a little organ called the prostate gland. I hope you are following me. The prostate gland, just below the bladder. The prostate gland is the size of a walnut, weigh about 20 grams. Its job is to make the seminal fluid, which is stored in the seminal vesicle. During sexual intercourse, seminal fluid comes down the urethra and mixes with the sperms produced in the testicle to form the semen. So semen technically is not sperm. It is sperm plus seminal fluid. The seminal fluid lubricates the sperm. I think men folks will understand this. Before sexual intercourse, there will be fluid coming out first. That is to serve as what can I call it? The one that will announce the arrival, the forerunner, to make sure the area is well lubricated. That is how God has created it. After age 40, for reasons that may be hormonal, the prostate gland begins to enlarge. From 20 grams, it may grow to almost 100 grams. As it enlarges, it squeezes the urethra and the man begins to notice changes in the way he urinates. If you have a son under 10, if he has a little mischief like we did at that age, when it comes to urinate, he can target the ceiling and the jet will hit the target. Call his father to do the same. While a day. I hope you understand what we're talking about. Yes, you understand, men folks. Little kids can take their pee now and the thing will touch the ceiling. But you cannot do that, So, not many men worry their urine cannot hit the ceiling. But then, there is an issue here. When these things start dropping like that, a situation will come when you cannot just urinate freely, or you after urinating you notice that even your pants is wet with urine, you'll be wondering what has happened. So this is called incomplete emptying, you know. So when you're having all these issues, what has happened? This happens, the bladder begins to work harder to compensate for the obstruction in the urethra. The frequency of urination goes up. Urgency test. Sometimes you have to practically run into the toilet. Nocturnal also becomes common. Nocturnal means you wake up in the night to urinate. Now, when you start getting up 2-3 times at night to urinate and you're not diabetic, then something is knocking. Something is not just right. Yes, because your bladder is supposed to hold the urine for a while, but when it is now becoming frequent, then you know that something has happened. So now let's look at how those things will manifest itself. Prostatitis. Itis will mean if there is inflammation in medicine, inflammation of the prostate. Prostate cancer of the prostate, when cancer has already come into the issue. This discussion on the prostate enlargement. Well, the issue is this. Who are the people who can have this issue? The people that could have it. Nutrition plays a lot of role in all this. Now, listen, maybe you are eating some kind of food that may not help. Here it is. According to U.S. National Cancer Institute, red meat every day triples your chances of prostate disease. Those of us who always eat red meat, if you are eating it, you are going to have that thing. The chances are 3 times that you are going to have that problem. You know, so that's it. That's red meat. Milk also. So that's why they advise elderly ones to cut down on milk. Don't take milk taking to an habit. You are no more kids. You're supposed to be taking solid food. But when you are now an elderly person, you are drinking milk as if you are still an infant. You know something is wrong. You know, tomatoes are very good for men. You know, because it contains what? Lycopene. You all know this thing. But how often do you eat tomato? I want to ask. Many of us don't eat tomato. How often do you eat tomato? When you take a whole tomato like this, wash it and eat it. Have you tried it? Even in developed countries, they sell tomato in tin, in can. You just open it and you gulp it down. How many of us have tried it? No, it is only when it is in pepper soup or when they use it to make a goosey. That is when we remember we have to take tomato. You see, but then, have you taken tomato in its raw form? So I think men folk, this is it. So you have to be taking that one once in a while because it contains lycopene. And at the same time, we need zinc too. Alcohol consumption is not good. We have said this many times. So if you are drinking alcohol all the time, you know that or in the name of pleasure, you know you are also harming yourself. A musician sang sometimes, I think 20 years ago, he said if alcohol won't do, he said it doesn't concern him. You bought what you like with your money. Well, I think it is Kollington Alada that sang it. Maybe I can say to you, Ogogoro Sheleche Kokomi. So that's the meaning. So I think those of us who are always thriving on alcoholism, this is a warning. Sitting for a very long time is not good for you. Let's say you are inside an airplane, like let's say Lagos to Dubai is 7 hours. Are you going to sit down like a statue for that 7 hours? You have to stand up, exercise, you walk around, walk around, move around. Because if you sit down, your bladder will start producing more fluid, and then the urgency will be there for you to now start looking for the restroom. And then when you are being pressed, please go and urinate. Don't say because people will be looking at you, because I know some people when they're inside the plane, they will be thinking that people will be looking at them. Are you going to wee on the seat? You have to go and ease yourself. Simple, Smoking is also not good because it affects blood circulation. And then sex is good. Yes, I know some people are already lying smiling now. Sex is good for prostate, but that does not mean that you should be promiscuous. That's not what we are saying. So what can we now do if we have that issue? Hot lemon. Lemon is, we have been saying it on this program, that hot lemon is a very good anti-cancer remedy. So let's imbibe the culture of taking lemon. So when you are having these issues, please, as usual, go and run a test called PSA. People always call me and they'll be asking me, Prof, I'm having an issue with prostate. Go and run a test. And they will grow annoyed. I say you should send me drug. No, it's not done that way. You should go and run a test called PSA. Go to any lab and say you want to do PSA. When we have your PSA, then we can now know what we are going to give you. So you don't just give drugs like that. Many of you, when you call us and we say, come and see us, you will be angry. This is your health. You don't have spare part. You don't have another spare in your wardrobe. If you miss this one, those are some of you will have it.
Herbways, the pathway to family wellness.